toys.
She wants to be independent.
I've lost my chargers! Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
What makes teenagers such an extraordinary species?
Oh, God.
In human teens, puberty happens later and lasts longer than in any other animal. As they turn from child to adult, amazing things go on in the body and the mind. And we explore those changes in remarkable scientific detail. Teenagers have talked to us with unparalleled frankness and intimacy.
No comment.
Now we examine the girls, up close and personal. We filmed 5 volunteers between the ages of 11 and 16. Our oldest, Charmaine, has a problem. Seems there is always an argument brewing between Charmaine and her mother. Why are teenage girls so difficult to live with? Claudia's dancing career is under threat from her body.
Right. Whoa, there's my boobs, Ernie.
Alex faces the embarrassment of developing years ahead of her time. And identical twins Rebecca and Jessica simply dread the future.
I don't want to grow up because it's better to be a kid.
But will their identical genes shape their attitudes as well as their biology? How similar will they be when they turn 13? We stay with all our girls for 2 years as they go through the most crucial stages of their lives.
Happy birthday!
First, our youngest. Rebecca and Jessica are just 11 years old.
I'm Rebecca. And I'm Jessica. I'm Rebecca. And I'm Jessica.
Rebecca, on the right, is just 2 minutes older than her sister Jessica. Being identical twins means more than just looking alike. The girls learn to walk and talk at the same time as each other. At 11, they share interests and friends. They've not yet started puberty, but they've a pretty good idea what's coming.
Well, first of all, you get bigger hips, and you get taller, and you get much stronger in Red House. And then you get kind of like, which I'm not going to get for a while, pubic hairs.
Close your eyes. Would you stop blinking up?
Even though they haven't started to develop, the twins are dressing to the nines for tonight's disco dance at their school. It takes 4 years for a girl to be fully transformed into an adult. It can start any time between 8 and 13. But unlike the twins, most 11-year-olds do show some signs. Puberty is driven by a crucial cocktail of hormones. Growth hormone, cortisol, estrogen, progesterone. They make beautiful crystals, but normally they're dissolved in the blood. A few months after the dance, unbeknownst to the twins, their hormones are forcing their bodies to change. It happens at night. An hour after the girls fall asleep, their brains go to work. Hormones travel down the blood vessels to the ovaries, which start pulsing estrogen into the bloodstream. The cascade of puberty has begun. At first, small doses of estrogen are released every 90 minutes. Over the next few weeks, the pulses get longer and more frequent, until there is a continuous stream of estrogen in the blood. This triggers the change that girls themselves first notice.
My friend
Yeah. She's got a figure, and she looks lovely in all these tops because it goes like this.
Humans are the only species that develop breasts before they get pregnant. Breasts first become visible as milk ducts grow behind the nipple. Then, fat collects around the milk ducts and the nipple itself. Beneath the dark circle of the areola, sweat glands and scent glands develop. Usually, breasts come first, but what happens when things don't go according to plan? Alex is 10 years old. 3 years ago, when she was just 7, something frightening happened.
Mood changes were the first thing. And the temper tantrums became like irate temper tantrums.
I didn't want to get near my mom at all. I would get mad at her for nothing.
And her moods were just, at any given point, were off the wall.
Kathy was worried that her little girl was mentally ill.
I remember just fretting, and my husband fretting, say, what could be the problem? Can she be this unhappy? And how can a child who was so happy 3 months ago be so sad?
Alex had been adopted by Kathy and her husband when she was 5. She spent her early years in a Romanian orphanage. Could this still be affecting her mind? Kathy was anxious and took Alex to see a doctor. But he didn't offer therapy or medication. Instead, he took an X-ray of Alex's hand. This is the X-ray of a 2-year-old. The gaps between the bones are wide. They look dark because they're filled with cartilage, which does not show up on X-rays. It's also what makes young hands feel floppy. As the hand grows to adult size, the gaps narrow. This is Alex's X-ray. At 7 years old, she had the hands of a teenager. And the rest of her body was not far behind.
By the time her bone scan was completed, she at that point had had complete nipple development. She was so odd looking by comparison to some of the other girls.
My chest was bigger. It's just that you look different and you're taller. You just don't blend in with the other girls. I did mine a lot because I smelled more stinky, and because I was sweating a lot, so I would have to take more showers and put deodorant on me.
Which was really very interesting because at 7 you're very resistant to wearing deodorant. I don't need this. Well, yes, you do.
Developing at 7 is not something many girls would welcome.
I don't know what I would do. I think it'd be really, really scary and probably overwhelming for somebody that young.
I developed more earlier than the rest of my friends in my old school, and I was always really embarrassed about myself.
No one would understand her. I just think she'd feel very alone.
Does it matter if a girl develops years earlier than her friends? Psychologist Jean Brooks-Gunn thinks it does.
This child stands out in stark contrast to everybody else. It relates to self-consciousness that the girls might have. It relates to negative feelings about body image. Girls who are early might also show depressive symptoms because of the fact that there is a difference.
Being different is difficult.
What parents and teachers may do if they see a girl developing early is to think that that girl is more advanced emotionally than she really is. Parents may start giving her freedom as though she is mature. But the important fact is that physical development and emotional development are not linked.
Early developers do not have the experience to cope with puberty, and the results can be tragic. Throughout their lives, they are 3 times as likely to suffer from an eating disorder, twice as likely to take drugs, and twice as likely to attempt suicide as girls who develop later. Alex's parents did not want their 7-year-old to grow up so fast.
We knew that she had been raised in an institution and she had no childhood. So this was only 2.5 years into a childhood for her, and we really felt that she was getting robbed.
Alex was given medical treatment to reverse the effects of the hormones. Her breasts disappeared. Her moods returned to normal. She became a child again. But why did she start so early? Timing depends on both what girls are born with, their genes, and the world they live in. Race can make a difference. Black girls generally develop earlier than white girls. No one has studied Romanians. For Alex, it was probably something else. Girls with a stable family life tend to develop later than average, and stressed children develop earlier. So the years Alex spent in a Romanian orphanage might be responsible for her early development. But normally, the most important factor is fat. It's just been discovered that fat has an extraordinary impact on puberty. These little round fat cells scattered throughout the body do something amazing. They continuously release a hormone into the bloodstream that's aimed directly at the brain. The brain will not trigger puberty until it detects that there's enough fat on board to fuel the teenage growth spurts. Children and teens are much fatter than they used to be. Almost a fifth are overweight, and this is advancing the onset of puberty. Today, many girls start developing breasts when they're just 9 years old. The twins are on their way to the biggest middle school in London. 2,000 students come here every day. Starting at a new school is a scary prospect for any 11-year-old. But for the twins, it's going to be even harder. They've only ever spent a few days apart.
We're going to be in different classes. She's going to be in one class and I'm going to be in the other. And we're going to have different tutoring groups, but we'll see each other at playtimes. Will we see each other at playtimes? Of course, do. And at lunchtime.
But there's another worry that the twins share with many children here today. It's been preying on their minds for months.
They might force me to smoke, and they might bully me, and what if I have to, or they'll beat me up?
I think that bullying is a massive issue to teenagers. Almost everyone in their school time suffers bullying at some stage, or is very aware of it happening to someone close by.
Charlie Redmayne runs a website for teenage girls in Britain. Every month, 300,000 of them log on. The website runs features on entertainment and fun. That's what he thought girls would be interested in. But when he posted a survey on bullying, he was in for a surprise.
We got just over 1,300 answers to the survey in a 2-day period. So I think what that showed was that it was something that a lot of teenage girls who use our site felt very strongly about.
The anonymity of cyberspace revealed levels of bullying among girls never before suspected. Across the U.S., 16% of students in grades 6 through 10 reported being bullied repeatedly. 8% of those are bullied at least once a week.
The concern I think that we had was that 70% of it was never reported to either parents or indeed to teachers. So whilst it is a huge issue, it's not necessarily one that the teachers know the extent of.
One of the best ways to avoid being bullied is to fit in. Fashion is vitally important to teenagers. Through regular focus groups like this one, manufacturers keep track of the ever-changing tastes of teenage girls, big spenders on fashion and beauty products.
That one, then that one. That's it, that stays on.
In America, teenage girls help drive the youth market by spending $85 billion a year. A chunk of that on luxuries like lipstick, perfume, and CDs.
It's annoying when you're kissing people hello. Just kissing anyone.
Claudia is 14. We first met her 2 years ago when she was just 12.
Hey, welcome to Teen Species. I'm Claudia. I go to Arts Educational School in Tring. I'm here to do a documentary and a video diary on me. Well, here I am. Hi. I like being a teenager, it's fun. You don't have to be responsible. You don't, I don't know, you can just have more fun. It's like when I go shopping, I won't have to rely on a job for the money. I can just speak to my mum and be like, come on. And just little things like that, it's better. When you're a teenager, you know that once it's finished, you're not going to have it ever again, so you might as well just enjoy it. So that's how I think about it anyway.
But despite appearances, Claudia is in trouble.
Breathe and.
Claudia is a dancer, and she's very ambitious.
You just get so excited. I just love performing. I'm really that sort of person. I love like acting, singing, and dancing. It's all everything to me, and I really, really love to perform it all.
Take your time.
Unfortunately, Claudia has lost control of her body.
Try and hold on to your centre. I know, it's all right. And releve up. All right. Notice how your body wants to stay too far backwards. So think of tightening your belly and lining up over your knee and over your foot. So bring the middle of you over to your foot. So you probably need to come further forwards than you have.
Everything's wrong. Everything in my body's wrong.
Try that.
It's really bad because you feel like you're trying so hard and everything you try just doesn't work.
Claudia has danced seriously since she was 3 years old.
Right, so we're going along.
For the past 6 years, she has attended a theater arts school.
Sideways on. We have step.
She spends 30 hours a week in training.
Step or change step.
Now, the trouble is she's growing.
Circular spring. Circular spring.
During puberty, the skeleton grows in a set order. Hands and feet grow first, then the forearm and shin, and then the upper arm and thigh. The legs usually stop when a girl starts her period, but the spine continues to grow until she reaches her full adult height at about 14 years old.
So nice and straight with your back, nice and square.
How tall am I?
5'5.5". That's 1.5 inches since September, 6.5 since January.
At 12, Claudia is average height, but she shot up 6.5 inches in the past year.
Whoa, that's loads.
Growing so fast, it's no wonder she's losing her balance.
Your balance goes completely, doesn't it? I know, it's all right. Take your time.
The extraordinary development of adolescence is only possible because of cells called osteoclasts. They are unique because they're designed to destroy. For the first time ever, we filmed tiny osteoclasts merging into massive new cells that make acid. You can see it happening on the right of the screen. These acid factories sculpt the growing bones into shape by pumping acid onto the surface and dissolving them away. If it weren't for osteoclasts, we simply would not end up the right shape. "12-year-old girls can be as much as 16 inches different in height. Claudia is one of the tallest in her year. She used to like the idea of being tall and willowy, but now that she is, it's not much fun.
It's really difficult when you're the biggest one or the tallest one or something different compared to everyone else. Especially today with Jo, because she's so small and little petite and she can get her legs and do the splits easily and everything. You know, if you look in the mirror and she's standing next to you, you're a bit of a monster compared to her.
Claudia is now the tallest girl in the class. And there's another problem. During the growth spurt, bones grow faster than muscles. Muscles lag well behind.
Claudia's got lovely long legs, but at the moment no muscle strength to control her legs. They can grow up to a phenomenal rate of 1 centimetre a month, which means that whilst they have these long legs, they don't have the muscles to control them. And rest a moment. Right, Claudia, take your leg to second. At the moment, Claudia's got enough strength to hold it there. All right, take your time. Claudia's really quite flexible, and when she's older and stronger, she will be able to hold her leg up there quite soon. As soon as her muscles have caught up with the legs, she'll be able to hold her leg up there all by herself. Won't that be fun? Yeah. All right, let's start it again with the music. Ready? Thank you. Prepare. And one. They have these tremendous hormonal rushes, as every parent of a teenager will know. And the danger here is that a previously strong, confident child can lose their self-esteem and lose their confidence as they perceive their lack of strength to be a decrease in ability and in talent.
It's really bad because I want to be better and I want it to all happen so quickly. But unfortunately it doesn't, so I've got to wait.
Charmaine lives in England with her mother, 2 sisters, and her brother.
Not pedal pushers. I said some dresses.
So where have you learned?
Well, look.
Charmaine is 14. Physically, she's almost fully developed. But her family is not so sure about the rest.
I've had enough anyway.
Charmaine is a complete pest.
She's a pest? Yeah, I think I am a pest because I do get on people's nerves. I get on Sam's nerves. She just thinks she's it and she's just not. I think I do it on purpose. I don't really.
To get someone nerves?
I'm not really a pest to locks.
Can you get on with me?
Nah, not to locks.
I think she's scared of me.
Charmaine, do you like these?
They're for big people, man. Kids don't wear them.
You mean big people?
Kids don't wear jackets like
It's
that.
not just the brother and sisters who have a problem with Charmaine.
When Charmaine was younger, she used to listen to everything I say. Now she's reached her teens. She wants to be independent.
They're horrible.
You like this though, don't you?
No.
But I don't want to give her that independence. I don't know if it's because I don't want to let go. But there's many kids out there making mistakes in life, and I'm trying to prevent her from making those mistakes.
Me and my mum don't get on that much. We always argue.
It is universal. It occurs across cultures.
Don't know, we just don't get on.
It occurs in all children.
I can't wait till she stops hassling me.
In fact, I don't think in all the research I've ever seen that I've seen a family where you don't have arguments between young teenagers and their parents.
The hormones of puberty make teenage girls especially sensitive. Changing levels of estrogen make their mood unreliable and even aggressive. Though with girls, it's usually verbal aggression rather than physical violence.
Any day, it's time for a row. My mum says to me, I wake up thinking, oh, I'll get on my mum's nerves today. I don't.
with Charmaine rowing like going 10 round with Tyson.
One of the first signs of changes that you see is that children start withholding information from their parents.
What day was the test on?
The point is that it's healthy. This is what children are supposed to do. It's part of growing older. You have to reset the boundaries with your parents.
Sometimes it does my head in. I come home from work and I can't take the arguing. I'll just go in my bedroom and keep out of the way.
It's a fascinating process.
I don't know. I don't know why they don't understand us. And my mum don't understand me at all.
Our whole lives we don't agree with everybody, and children have to learn how to negotiate disagreements. My belief is that kids are using arguing with their parents to learn really important social skills that they take on to later life.
Look, smile.
What better place to learn to negotiate than in the family? It's the safest place to argue. You can argue with your parents, you can walk out of the room, you can scream, and they're still going to love you.
Charmaine, I'm talking to you.
Oh.
I want to have some sort of bus.
The twins are now 12, and their surging hormones are finally causing visible changes, and it's not all welcome. Even so, they're shopping for bras.
Lovely, isn't it?
I like this one. That's an A cup. You need to grow into that one, Jessica.
Getting a bra has more than practical significance.
Most girls
In my
wearing
class.
bras think it's cool, like.
No, they don't.
Well, they do, yeah.
They
And
don't.
but some girls wear them for nothing because they haven't got none, and they just wear them.
Yeah, because they
They
want to be grown up.
yeah. They think that if you don't wear a bra, then
You get left behind.
But I thought they were tied up by the sides.
Now that she's 12, Rebecca wants to fit in. She wants to be like the others.
I thought it would be fun for the first time to wear fun. Oh, Jessica!
Jessica is still not too hot on the idea.
That's a small. That would fit me. It's very pretty, but I don't know if it's got any support or anything like that in it.
we need support. Yeah, we don't really need to wear a bra. We can wear vests still, but if you fancy wearing a bra, you just wear a bra.
Yeah.
I want to have some sort of bust, but not ginormous ones.
34. Right?
She's 32 and I'm 34. Jessica is 2 minutes younger than me, and I'm not surprised that she's developing slower than I am.
For the first time, there's a significant physical difference between the girls. With identical genes, though, who will take the next step first?
I know about 3 girls who started their period.
Don't want to start with you, don't I? Because it's disgusting.
All the changes of puberty have just one purpose: making babies. For it to happen, girls have to start their periods. It's an extraordinary process. At the top of the screen is an ovary. It looks enormous, but in real life it's only the size of a walnut. Inside is an egg, about to set off on its difficult journey to the womb. First, it has to cross a gap thousands of times its own size, from the ovary to the top of the fallopian tube below. It's carried over in a column of sticky, almost see-through jelly. Surprisingly, it usually makes it. This is the beginning of the possibility of new life. Next, the journey down the fallopian tube. It's only 6 inches, but it takes 3 days. During that time, the womb itself is prepared. This is the lining of the womb. It's packed with nourishment ready to feed a fertilized egg as it grows into a baby. When the egg is not fertilized, lining and egg together are cast away in the bleeding of the period. This amazing sequence takes place 400 times in the life of a normal female. Almost all women remember exactly when they started their periods, but not many know what the trigger was. The crucial factor is weight. Virtually all girls are about 105 pounds, 17% fat when they start. That's because they must be big enough to nourish a baby. 80 years ago, when many girls did not have enough to eat, the average age of the first period was 16. As nutrition improved, that age dropped until in the 1940s it was down to 13. These days, in spite of the enormous amount of food people eat, the average age at which periods start is still the same, 13 years old. But breast development is coming earlier. The time between starting puberty and starting periods has doubled in length from 18 months to 3 years. Nowadays, puberty is lasting longer than ever before. Above all else, teenage girls are concerned about how they look. They fret about everything from fashion to body fat. The ever-popular makeover capitalizes on these insecurities.
That's lovely. Teenage girls are concerned about what it is to be a teenage girl. They're very interested in their friends. They're very interested in fashion. They're very interested in beauty. They're very interested in all the things that make them a girl. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's nice.
That's quite like a...
Girls are not only driven by what's in fashion, but with an ever-changing body, what looked good last month may be entirely wrong today.
I think they're going to be massive for summer. Try it with your hood up as well.
The curse of being 14 is self-consciousness and insecurity.
I like the top and the top over it. I like the colours. I think I would wear the top. The shoes, I'm not really sure about.
I think they're all insecure. You know, a teenager, I think, can be far more focused on trying to be the person that they think they ought to be, or they think someone else would want them to be.
Then nice smile.
You look around at your peer group and you see other people looking enormously confident and you go, God, I wish I could be as confident as them and feel as confident as them. And what they don't know and understand is inside the heads of the very confident people are the same insecurities.
Teenage girls are their own worst critics, constantly scrutinizing their image, focusing only on the flaws.
When I look in the mirror, I think I see nice eyes, a spotty face, and a terrible nose that I absolutely hate.
Girls become so acutely aware of how they look because their brain is changing. Like the body, the brain develops during adolescence, and that changes the way teenagers think. They become more aware of the world around them, and the fact that other people have a point of view. Add that to an unpredictable body, and the result can be painful self-criticism.
There's a bump right there.
I don't like my eyebrows. Big, cherry, mouldy nose. Little smallies.
I don't really see anything except for spots.
I have too many spots.
Of course, some problems can't be avoided.
A spotty freak.
All teenagers get pimples. They're not caused by stress, they're not caused by chocolate, and they have little to do with how much you wash. Pimples are caused by allergy and infection. This is skin, magnified 1,000 times. It's covered in hair follicles, and inside every one is a gland that produces grease called sebum. A teenager's face produces half a quart of sebum every year. It's an allergic reaction to the surging hormones, as if the skin is trying to wash them away. But on its own, even sebum doesn't cause pimples. For that, you need bacteria. They live on everybody's skin, but they do no damage until they find their way into a sticky, airless hair follicle. And there, they thrive. The body sends white cells to fight the bacteria off, and the combination of white cells, bacteria, and grease causes the unmistakable inflammation of the pimple.
Where did my butt go? Oh my god! Driving me crazy. Alright, shoot butt. Oh my god, this mirror is so awesome.
I'm gonna guess, okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's making me think.
But girls' biggest worry is their weight. It's a fact that's sad but true.
Oh my god.
My name's Beth.
My name's Shrew.
I'm Pat.
Beth, you try.
Oh my god.
I probably weigh about 130 pounds or so.
I don't really know my weight either, but it doesn't matter to me.
I think I weigh about 125.
Stop it. Stop.
Turn to the side now.
What?
Turn now.
That's better. I believe that your body is always changing, and there's always, like, maybe one day, like, one feature better than the other. I honestly don't really like anything.
I'm dying.
These girls are typical of teenagers who've taken part in many studies, some of which used a distorting mirror like this.
That's too big.
They can make their reflections look fatter or thinner by turning a knob behind the mirror. The challenge is to recognize their true, undistorted shape.
Oh, nice.
Surprisingly, they can judge their size quite accurately. But while only 11% of teenage girls are actually overweight, 60% of them think they are.
When I see myself in the mirror, it's not always what is actually there. What your mind thinks that you are is just sometimes not what you actually are.
It all comes down to the stress of not being attractive, not being pretty to boys, and not fitting in with peer groups. And for girls, appearance is closely linked to popularity. At 14, it's usually not so much sex as friends. The way friends interact is one of the big differences between girls and boys. The stereotype is that before puberty, boys want friends who play team sports, while girls want to talk and share secrets. And it's usually true. At this age, the two sexes don't often overlap. Aspiring dancer Claudia is growing by leaps and bounds. Along with her height, her interest in the opposite sex has increased.
I'm really quite picky when people actually.
At close to 14, she's allowed to go clubbing, though only to events for under 18s. She started meeting boys.
I did have a boy in mind that I did think would be a boyfriend, but it got to the point where we got to know each other and we didn't end up right for each other, so I sort of lost the sort of passion thing that I felt for him when I first saw him and first met him and stuff. It sort of drifted away.
At this age, the gender divide is weakening, but girls still spend most of their time with other girls.
I don't really fancy any of the boys there. I don't really know if I'm going to pass that. I don't think so.
Friendship is hardly unique to adolescents, but during this time when girls are still trying to find their place in the world, friends have more influence than at any other.
It's really fun. I mean, some decent blokes ask you to correspond, but you can't do that. Yeah, just various reasons. Just for friends and stuff.
Peer group influence seems to peak during the 11 to 14 period. Oftentimes, identification with a peer group is in part fueled by feeling not exactly in tune with parental wishes.
Mark McDermott is a leading researcher in the influence peer groups have throughout adolescence, and his conclusions might surprise a lot of parents.
I don't think peer groups at all are always bad. That is the fear that parents have, rather than the reality of peer groups. More often than not, children elect to be members of peer groups that at core have very similar values, when you're thinking of very important values, to those of parents.
For parents, the most important values usually relate to sex.
Alright, you do not know what love is. That's what I'm telling you. You do not know what love is. You're not old enough to have a long-term relationship. Most girls that we know, they've already had sex. Most of them. Janine, what have you done to my umbrella?
Girls have an acute understanding of how important it is to fit in. Charmaine and her friends adhere to a strict, unspoken dress code.
You drift more apart from your group by just looking different. If you want to like wear something fashionable, but not fashionable to somebody in your group, it's going to make you look different, and they might think that you're thinking different. But if you stay in with the group, then everyone's like, oh, well, it's okay, she's the same as us, it's all right. And they'll stay together.
She's chatting rubbish, man. So he's not chatting to us.
In the mid-teens, the influence of the crowd starts to wane. Just turned 14, Claudia is already showing more independence.
I like being the person who I am. I don't want to follow a crowd and follow people and wear the same clothes as them and wear the same things so I fit in. If they don't like me for who I am, then I'm not bothered.
At the end of 2 years with our girls, we've spanned most of the big changes of puberty. What difference have they made to their lives?
We have just started our period, which we're growing into a woman. It means I've lost my childhood.
There can be 8 years between when any two girls start their periods. But what about the twins with their identical genes? Which of them started first? It was Jessica, the younger one. But Rebecca wasn't far behind. She started the very next day. And was it all as bad as they thought?
I thought as soon as I started my period, then I'd be changed, but I haven't really. I'm still the same. I thought I would get more moodier, liking boys, but I haven't.
It got me. It got me.
Alex is still taking the medicine to stop her development, so she hasn't changed much, and her mom plans to keep it that way until she's at least 13.
Yes, yes.
She's now in pace with the other girls in her class, so when she starts puberty, she'll be in good company.
Now that the girls are catching up to me, I think it's good because we can talk about what's happening with us.
And how about boys? Any that she likes?
No, just one boy.
At 14, Claudia has regained her balance, and her body is under control.
I want to make sure that I really use my feet properly.
Well, most of it is.
See that extension?
Yeah.
See that nice big kick you did?
I only realised that actually when we did this dance, how like high my legs were, and I actually smacked myself in the face.
Remember when we first met Charmaine? She was 14.
She has no consideration for others whatsoever.
I'm not perfect.
Now Charmaine is 16, and she's a new person.
Oh, give her back outside. Larry, just call me out. Don't let Nancy. No one tease me. You're right.
She's a complete different child from what she was. She's really, really changed.
I respect her more now. And I think she respects my opinions as well, more than she used to. And we'll just get on better. Yes! Yes! I'll beat ya! I'll beat ya!
But that does not mean that peace has broken out in Charmaine's household. Recently, little sister Steph turned 13.